In this chapter, we're going to be looking at exponentials and logarithms. You may have seen exponentials before in GCSE, things like 2 to the power of x or 3 to the power of x. We're going to be taking it to a whole new level. This has applications all over the place, both in this course and in life. So it's got some really nice links with statistics. It's really important for the differentiation and integration that we'll be doing in year 13. So it's a fascinating topic and has lots of applications all over the place. So I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, let's begin by looking at exponentials. Okay, so an exponential function is any function which looks something like this, where there's some kind of base, like maybe 5, which is a number, and then a power, which is the variable. So, when we looked at quadratics, it was always, our variable was always the base, and then we had a power of 2 if it was a quadratic, or, if it was a cubic, we had a base of x, and the power was 3. So in general, these things, we call these things polynomials. And polynomials have the property of the variable being your base and a constant being the power, whereas exponentials have the property that the constant is the base and the variable is the power. So y equals 5 to the x is an exponential, and so is y equals 2 to the x. And you could also have multiples in front of them. So we could have y equals 3 times 2 to the x. Notice that that's not 6 to the x because the power of x is only applied to the 2 there. So those are exponentials. You could also have fractions as well. So y equals a half to the x. That's an exponential function, and it can be as weird as you like. So 0.235 times 1.6 to the x. That's just an ugly looking exponential. The only ones we don't really include are ones like y equals negative 2 to the x. We tend to not allow that base to be negative. The reason is it just gets really weird. I mean, just imagine what happens when x is a half here. You would have negative 2 to the half, which is square root of negative, and there's no real solution to that. So we tend to ignore these. All right, let's have a look at what these look like when we graph them. All right, so here we are on Desmos, and this is a graph of y equals 2 to the x. So you can see that when x equals 2, you've got 2 to the power 2 is 4. And if I zoom in a bit, 2 to the power 1 is 2, and 2 to the power 3 is 8. And 2 to the power of 0 is 1, and so on. 2 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 2, which is a half, and there it is. So, this is the standard exponential graph shape, and pretty much all of them have this shape. Now, in fact, what I've done on Desmos is I've keyed in y equals a to the x, and I can change what a is. So we can play around with that and see how the graph changed. So you can see that if a is bigger, so if a is 5, it's just a steeper graph than it was when a was 2. And if I make a smaller, it becomes less and less and less steep. And maybe you could imagine what's going to happen when a gets down to 1. Well, it's going to flatten out entirely because look, 1 to the x is 1 everywhere. 1 squared is 1, 1 to the power 8 is 1, 1 to the power minus 6 is 1. What about when it turns into a fraction? Well, look, it just pops back on the other side, which is kind of nice. So, when a equals a half, you've got a half to the power of x. In fact, that's just an exact reflection of y equals 2 to the x, which is quite nice. So that's what exponentials are going to look like. If your base is bigger than 1, it has this kind of shape, growing and growing. That's known as exponential growth. And if your base is between 0 and 1, you get this, which is called exponential decay, where it's just growing, going down and down and down. And we don't tend to look at a being negative. So that's the standard shape of an exponential. Okay, the ones with a base bigger than 1, the ones with a base less than 1. Okay, so let's see if we can apply that to some actual exam questions. So f of x equals 2 to the x. Sketch the graph of y equals f of x minus 4, indicating any points where the graph meets the coordinate axes and the equation of any asymptotes. All right, so we know now that, I'm going to just have a very rough sketch here. The graph of f of x, so just 2 to the x, is this. Okay, just a standard exponential graph. Now, what about this one? Well, we know that an f of x minus 4 transformation shifts the graph down 4 units. So I just need to take this graph and shift it down. So let's draw our axes. And then let's just draw exactly that graph, but shift it down 4 units. Now notice in the original one, it flattened out to the line, well, to the x-axis. Now it's going to flatten out 4 units below that. And in fact, that's going to be our asymptote. So I put a dotted line there. And so what it's going to do, it's going to come along here, and then it's going to start going up. Now, before it crossed at, well, 2 to the 0 is 1. So it crossed at 1. So that's going to move 4 units down. So it now needs to cross at -3. So actually I better make sure it doesn't get big too quickly. So it grows slowly, goes up through -3, and then shoots up like this. It's not an asymptote here, so make sure you never have it pointing straight up. It just gets really steep. So that point there is 0, -3. And the reason is that this was 1 before, and so it's gone down 4 units. What about this one here? Well, that's where it crosses the x-axis. So whatever that is, it's the solution to 2 to the x minus 4 equals 0, because it's when our graph, which was 2 to the x minus 4, has a y value of 0. So can we solve this? Sure we can. 2 to the x equals 4. Now, which value of x do you which value of x do you set to make this correct? Well, 2 squared is 4, so x needs to be 2. So the coordinates of this point are 2, 0. So we've got the coordinates of the point where it meets the axes. Now the equation of this asymptote here is just y equals -4. It's a height of -4, and that's what our graph flattens out to. It used to flatten out to the x-axis, which is y equals 0. Now it flattens out to y equals -4. All right, one more question. Okay, so y equals a b to the x. So our base is b, and then we've got a coefficient of a. Given that the graph of this function passes through the points -164 and 227, find the values of a and b. Well, just as a little intuition boost at the start, let's just do an incredibly rough sketch of this. So what do I know? I know that when x is -1, we've got a nice big x value, nice big y value here. And when x is 2, we've got a smaller one here. So if that's an exponential graph, it's got to be a decreasing one. Now, we saw when we were playing around a Desmos that we get a decreasing one when our base is between 0 and 1. So I already know that b has to be a fraction. It's got to be somewhere between 0 and 1. It can't be bigger than 1, or else our graph would be growing. Let's see if we can solve it, though. I'm going to do this by just subbing these values in here. So when y is 64, x is -1. So we get y equals a times b to the -1. And if I sub these ones in, I know that when y is 27, x is 2, so I get a times b squared. Well, that's just simultaneous equations, isn't it? So I think we can do this by substitution. Recognize that if I multiply both sides by b, it just goes from this side, because I'm going to get 64b, and then a, and then if I multiply this by b, I'd get b to the -1 times b is just 1. So I've got a little substitution there, so I could just sub this into here, because now 27 is a, otherwise known as 64b, times b squared. So what we have is 27 equals 64b cubed. Dividing both sides by 64, I get that 27 is 20. B cubed is 27 over 64, and then cube rooting both sides. Well, the cube root of 27 is 3, and the cube root of 64 is 4. No plus or minus because it was cubing and cube rooting, and we don't get positive and negative there. Okay, so there's B. Can I work out what A is? Sure I can. A is just going to be 64 times 3 over 4, which is 48. So there we go, we've got the values of a and b, and I now know that my function was y equals 48 times 3/4 to the x. So that intuition there was correct, that it must have been a decreasing function because in this case the base was 3/4. All right, I hope that was a useful little intro to exponentials and exponential functions. We're going to continue growing this idea over the next few videos, so I'll see you there.